This is Andrine, Jewish American Priestess. I'm going to mix things up today with my reading, so let's light some candles to get started. This big candle is what I light for the divine energy. I have this smaller one that's just for me, and then I have a tall one that I light for the ancestors. What I'm going to do today is I've got two different decks of cards, some Nordic runes, the Futhark, the Elder Futhark, and then some Hebrunes. So we're going to do all four today. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 3 cards from this deck, and I will let you choose which of those cards you want to follow, and then we'll do a card from the Mythologia Finnica. Maybe I'll do a rune with these, and then we'll do a Hebrew reading based on those. So I set these off to the side, and also these ones, and we'll do a shuffle, and we'll pick 3 cards from this deck to see what is the general energy of your reading. There's, well, 4. Okay, well, we're going to take the 3 there. We're not going to do 4 today. Okay, for pile number 1, it's going to be sovereignty. We'll get into what each of these cards says individually in the reading, but this one, sovereignty, you can see those beautiful purples there that tend to go with sovereign energy. The middle one is going to be integrity. Got some fire colors there. And then the last pile will be birth. Again, more reds. A lot of deep red colors today. And then we're going to pick a rune for each of these piles. I'm just going to reach into the bag and 1, 2, 3, pull some out here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so the sovereignty card comes with the rune Kenaz. It's generally read this way, but it came out reversed, so we're going to go with that. Kenaz. Set that above. The integrity card came with Wunjo, but again, reversed. Wunjo. And the birth card came with Eiwaz. I can tell you a little bit about these runes. Kenaz is a torch, so it's about light that is expanding, but when it's pointed down, when it's reversed, it's about light that is becoming more focused. So sovereignty and focus is pile number 1. Wunjo is about joy, but it's reversed, so I'm going to go with inner joy. So we have integrity and inner joy for the second group. And for the third group, we have birth and Eiwaz, which is about slow, steady growth, and it's the yew tree. So it's about slow, steady progress and growth. And that's birth. Okay, so take a minute to decide which of these 3 cards and runes you would like a reading about, and we will post the timestamps below, and we'll do a reading on each of those. I'll see you in your reading. Welcome, people of sovereignty. Those of you who chose the sovereignty card, it says, be the ruler of your domain. Wear your crown with pride. You have earned it. Stand in your power and your inherent deservingness. So I love that this has got those beautiful purples in it, and that that's a very sovereign color. Purple was reserved for royalty in the days when it was difficult to come by that color in terms of dyeing fabric. So sovereignty is about really owning your own power. It's about really understanding that you are a sovereign of your domain, that you've been given that sovereignty by the divine. And the rune that came with this card today is Kenaz. Now, Kenaz upright looks like this, and it's about a torch, so something that is bright and expanding. Its light is coming from this point and opening up, so it's like a torch or a beacon. And it is it's normally about creativity and awakening and growth and illumination, vision, self-knowledge. And when it's reversed, it is still about those same things. It's still about creativity and awakening and growth and knowledge, but it's a more focused thing. So instead of something growing, it's coming down and being honed into a fine point. It doesn't mean that those things don't exist. It means that you're dealing with them on an inner level, and that you're really, really focusing on one thing to help whatever your situation is here. And right now it's about being the ruler of your domain and about really standing in your power, really focusing on the one thing that you need to do to understand your own worth in the world. So I'm going to set those up here so we can still have them in the picture. And then we're going to pull out one Kalevala card, and then we'll pull out some Hebrunes to illuminate this. So let's see what's up today for you in terms of sovereignty. There it is. So our card today for you is Ilmatar. Now, Ilmatar is she was the sky goddess and the water goddess, and she's the mother, like, of the world, basically. Ilmatar is about motherhood. It's about personal wisdom and truth, courage, understanding, compassion, impartialness, and sensibility. So Ilmatar lived way up in the sky. She lived up in this above the northern lights, is where it said her father's palace was. And she got tired of being alone, and she didn't like her life, and so she descended to the sea. She fell through the sky and landed in the sea. And she was rocked in the sea by a mixture of the wind and the waves, and thereby through the combined effects of the sea and the wind, she became pregnant. So she was impregnated by the sea and the wind. And at that very moment, she turned into Velamo, the mother of water. So she was the sky goddess, and she turned into the mother of water. She had a child inside of her for hundreds of years, and she prayed to have her torment released. And she was sent a duck, a diving duck, that landed on her knee and started to lay eggs. And it became very hot when the eggs were on her knee, so she moved her leg and all the eggs crashed into the water, and they became the material out of which the earth was formed. And so she was the one who created the formation of the earth's capes and the beaches and the bottom of the ocean, and the shells flew up into the sky and created the dome, and the yolk of the egg became the sun. And so she was the creatrix of this in some way. She was the first one to give birth in the stories of Finland, and her child was 700 years old when he was born, and that was Vainamoinen, who is a whole different story. But she represents this feminine wisdom and the deep vision to be in touch with her emotions, to know how she feels, and experiencing both joy and sorrow, and knowing how to take care of her business. She was lonely, so she left her home. She, when the duck she called for help when she needed it. When the duck landed on her knee and her knee became uncomfortable, she moved. She didn't just tolerate it. So she has these abilities to sense what she's feeling and take care of her situation. And so she is this face of really bravely taking care of her needs, leaving her comfort zones to carry out her destiny, and trusting in her vision. So she's our goddess today. She's the one who's looking over this reading, Ilmatar. And I'll set her right over here. And I love that she's got the purple, also very much like the sovereignty here. You can see her face in the sky as she falls into the water. So a lot of the same colors here. So now we're going to pull out some Hebrunes and see what comes up for a reading. We're just going to do a smallish one. I'm going to use the set that has both the ancient Hebrew and the modern Hebrew. I'm going to grab a handful. Toss them down, see what we have. Okay. All right. So our central issue that I'm seeing here is the letter Samech. And Samech is this circle. It's about, cycles and circles, the wheels of life turning around. It also has the ancient connotation of a thorn. You can see this is the Proto-Hebrew image of Samech, that is a thorn. So it has this idea of both being surrounded with protection, but also some sort of agitation. So there is this kind of binary understanding of protection and agitation with Samech. It's about being surrounded with love and care, like you might surround your field with a thorny hedge. So you're safe from predators or safe from letting your livestock escape, but you also have these thorns that surround you. So it has both of those connotations. It's about, it has to do with cycles and circles. It's the number 60, so it has to do with time. So you've got 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. It's interesting because it's got all of these different connotations with the Samech, about time and cycles and wheels and protection as well. So that's our central issue right now. We've got some kind of protection surrounding us. We've also got some kind of agitation going on. And the thing that came just before now is the letter Pei. This is a mouth. This is the ancient Hebrew of communication. So the modern Hebrew looks like this. It's the mouth of the divine creating the world by speaking it into existence. And we've got the ancient vision of that here, the letter Pei. And Pei is a mouth. It's about communication. So some kind of communication potentially has come just before now that has been influential. It is the binary of grace and ugliness. So beauty and ugliness. And you can have beautiful words, certainly. But there's some continuum here where you've got something that maybe is beautiful, but has been pretty words that maybe have been transformed into something ugly, or ugly words that have been transformed into something beautiful. It is, so it is the number 80. So it's eternity. So 8 is the number that represents infinity. Because it is one more than 7, which is the number of days of creation. So we have this idea of 8, but then this is 10 times 8. So this is a really huge a manifestation of eternity. So some kind of communication that's been going on eternally, or something some kind of situation that's been going on forever and ever, that has just come to pass, has brought us to our situation here with the agitation and the protection. And that will go right there. And then we also have the blank, which is the Ein Sof, the, again, eternal. There's this eternity that exists here that is, you know, it's unseen and unknown. Like it's the stuff out of which all things are made. I love this piece of wood because it has all these little swirls in it as well. Yeah, so the blank Hebrune is here to remind us that the infinite exists in all forms, in all times, before time and after time. We have this concept of infinity that has brought us to where we are, that out of the infinite, creation was spoken into existence, the same way that Ilmatar created the earth as we know it in this mythology. So the infinite has come up here twice in this reading. So something about ongoing, long-lasting things being up for whatever we're dealing with here right now, being up for bringing us to the situation of sovereignty and agitation. Sovereignty surrounded with protection and agitation. And the fourth rune that we have on our plate here is Ayin. That's what it looks like in the modern Hebrew. In the ancient Proto-Hebrew, it looked like an eye because it is an eye. The Ayin is said to be an eye. So it's about vision. It's about being able to see clearly. And it's also about being watched over by divinities. So that same idea of being surrounded and protected, but also being able to see more clearly. And I love that we've got Kenaz here with the torch, being about illumination, maybe inner illumination, or about focusing on whatever it is we need to focus on. Yeah, so what's coming up next, or maybe what we're afraid of, is not being able to see, or not being able to see clearly, or not being watched over, not being protected. But we know we have this sovereignty here. We know we have this surroundedness, that we are protected in some way by divinity, and we can step into our own sovereignty and have that focus on the thing. Let's see what our focus is about. I just want to get one or two more. Okay, I've got the letter Resh. This is the Proto or Paleo Hebrew for Resh, which looks like this. And it's about a beginning. It's about the head. It's about like Rosh Chodesh or Rosh Hashanah means the head or the beginning of a thing. Like Bereshit is in the beginning. So something is coming to a beginning after this situation, whatever we've got going on here, after this idea of the infinite. And Ilmatar, she came from the infinite unknown void, and in this rune, the divine speaks the world into existence the same way that Ilmatar gets what she needs by asking for it. And now we've got Resh. So the focus that we're focusing on is about whatever's coming up, the new beginning that we've got coming up. We've got something that is just starting. Maybe we don't see what it is yet, but something is coming up. We have with Resh, we're it's about the binary foundation of seed and barrenness. So something is being planted right now, and since we are in the winter time of year, it's difficult for us to see the growth of it maybe right now. We can't see what's happening, but something is coming out. And I'm going to pull out one more for our final conclusion here that hopefully will give more clarity. And that is the letter Lamed. Okay, so Lamed is about reaching up with heart. It is the one letter in Hebrew that reaches above the line. And the word heart in Hebrew is lev, which begins with the letter lamed. It's about teaching and learning as well. So lamed is, it's about heart. It's about reaching up toward divinity and connecting with heart, having the heart rise up in aspiration. And it's about, learning something new and then teaching something new or being taught something. It's about action in the world. So you've got something new coming on and some kind of action, maybe moving forward with heart. Again, reaching up with heart, finding some way to learn and teach that will bring us into our understanding of sovereignty here. So we are the ruler of our domain, and we're surrounded with protection. Maybe we're protecting it with some sort of thorniness or agitation. We've had before here is something was spoken that brought us to this situation. Some kind of thing was spoken into existence. Maybe something beautiful with grace, or maybe something ugly that caused us to want to protect ourselves. And something that's been going on infinitely for some time, the same way Ilmatar has been here the whole time. And again, more infinity here, something that's just been going on and on. So we're protecting ourselves with agitation or thorniness, as well as being surrounded with protection by the divine. That we may have some concern about not seeing what's going to be coming, or not being watched over by the divine. But we also have a new beginning coming in. So with the seeds of sovereignty, we know something new is coming with the Reish. Maybe it's be time to think about that. To think about what we'd like to see. What we'd like to see in the world. So with our Reish there. And then that will bring us to Lamed, which is the lev, the heart, reaching up toward divinity. And that will help us to stand in our power, to love ourselves, to be able to be proud of ourselves and take charge of our situation with love. That we really need to reach up with an elevated heart toward what it is we are trying to accomplish here. And for those of you who chose sovereignty, this has been your reading. Hope you're able to focus nice and strongly on whatever it is you're needing to focus on. Maybe focusing on this new thing that's coming. But remember to do whatever you do with heart. And we'll see you next time. Hello, people of integrity. I'm going to read this card, and then we're going to look at another card from the Kalevala deck, and then do some Hebrunes. So integrity is about showing consistency in your values and behaviors. It says a fall is inevitable sometimes, so land softly and seek your own integration. So finding a way to integrate whatever's going on right now, but be aware that you need to have consistency in your values and behaviors, and understand that even if you've fallen, it's important to land softly and seek integration. Okay, and for your rune, we got Wunjo, and Wunjo is joy. As I said, it's about harmony and being at peace and prosperity, well-being, fellowship, and self-worth. But it's reversed here, so that doesn't mean the opposite of joy. It means that there's internal joy. So there's maybe internal harmony, that you're coming to terms with yourself. that you are finding your self-worth again, really internally, really working on your own inner stuff, that you're finding some value and prosperity in what has come before here. So with your integrity, finding inner joy is the basic energy of this reading. So now we're going to pull out one card from the Kalevala, and then we'll do some Hebrunes to go with that. Just give it a little shuffle. See who wants to. There we are. Okay. All right. This is, I'm going to try to pronounce it, Mieliki. Mieliki. And she is the Queen of Pentacles, loosely translated from the traditional tarot. Mieliki is the mother of Earth. She's about protection and gifts, life-maintaining force. So she's really an earth goddess. She's about feminine love and generosity, about balance and well-being of your body, mind, and care, sharing, and continuity. She's got a lot going on here. She looks like she has a black bird over there on the right, probably a raven, and a dove also on the upper left, and another bird in the tree. She's got a lot of birds. That's lovely, and a wand as well, which looks like a red tip to it. So she's the mistress of the forest. She governs over the vast granaries and the animals of the forest. And for people who are hunting, she gives them luck. She has the golden keys that open the granaries, and her duties are also to take care of the forest's beauty, the well-being of plants, nature's balance and harmony. She also knows all the healing properties of plants and how to use them. Mieliki is the one who looks over all the spirits of all the animals, who are each animal species has a spirit that watches over it, a species haltja. And Mieliki is the one who watches over that. So she's the mistress of the forest, and she's benevolent and generous and filled with feminine care and love. She appreciates and respects every living thing, the balance of harmony with nature. She takes care of the environment and urges everyone to protect it. She also knows how to take care of herself and her own body. She is safe and motherly and balanced. She has strong connections to nature and her surroundings, and is strongly grounded and peaceful. She might give surprising gifts, but reminds you that you deserved all the bounty that comes to you. She says that to remember proud, greedy attitudes and selfishness and laziness may cause her to lock the granaries. So it's about fertility and creativity and strength and mothering, the Earth Mother. So she's sort of a Gaia. I'm gonna equate her to Gaia. She may tell of a need for security and self-confidence and the fundamental values of a person, taking care of one's own body. So you can see how it's connected to integrity there. And I like that she's green like the rune, but she's also got the red tip on her wand, which says maintain your integrity or you may lose access to the granaries that she holds the keys to. She's got so many animals here. She's got goats, and is that a goat? A deer? Cat? Bobcat? All the animals of the forest. So Mieliki is here. to give you a message. And we're going to read some Hebrunes. I'm going to reach in and I'm going to grab a handful of runes and cast them down and see what comes up. Wow, okay. So we've got a bunch. I'm going to turn them so I can see what we're dealing with here. Okay. Okay, so our central issue in this reading is the Gimel. This is what it looks like in the current modern Hebrew, and this is the Proto-Hebrew. And it looks like a foot. It is said to be a camel that is walking forward. And it is the binary foundation of peace and evil. So wholeness and wickedness is how it's like this continuum that goes from wholeness to wickedness. And where do you walk on that continuum? Where's your integrity here? It is the letter that rules over the planet Jupiter in the sky. So it is said to be about justice. Tzedek is the name of the planet Jupiter in Hebrew. And so it has something to do with justice and moving forward with purpose and with toward wholeness, ideally, not toward wickedness. You have the choice of walking toward wickedness or walking toward wholeness. Or peace. Shalom is the word in Hebrew, so it can be peace, but it's more than peace. It's more about just having integrity for all wholeness, for all of the earth, for all of the planet. Not just for oneself, but for everything around. And not just for the lack of war, but for actual healing and peace. So that's our central issue, is the Gimel, which is telling us to move forward toward wholeness and justice and righteousness. And what's come before now is this letter Tzadi, which is interesting because Tzadi is also justice. I don't know what exactly the paleo is supposed to represent, maybe a seed or a snake. I'm not sure what the pictogram was supposed to be here, but it is the ancient justice. It's about really, really old issues that maybe of injustice that are coming up. Tzadi is the first word of the word tzaddik, which means holy or righteous one, and about somebody who really works hard to bring righteousness to the world and studies hard and has wisdom. So what's come in the past here is this idea of justice and righteousness. And now we're encouraged to continue walking in that direction. That we've had something, maybe justice or righteousness in the past, but now we really need to move forward toward it. And what's below this, what's on the lower part here, is the Lamed. This is again the Paleo Hebrew or the Proto Hebrew for the letter Lamed, and Lamed is about heart. It's Lev, which means heart in Hebrew, but it's the only letter that reaches above the line. So it's about reaching up with heart, about aspirations of heart toward divinity and maybe toward others. But it's about heart, and since it's below this, maybe it's the foundation of our situation, or maybe it's something that hasn't been serving, like that there's been some fear or concern around not having heart or not learning a lesson. This is also about learning and teaching. So if you've had some lessons to learn, or if you've been trying to do something with heart and it has not worked out for you because it's, again, like I said, it's on the lower line, that it's possible that there's some fear around whether our movement forward is going to be with heart. So that's what's either below this or what is of concern here, that we've had some concerns about not having enough heart. And what's above here, what I'm seeing above, is the letter Nun. And Nun is a letter that represents humility. It's about being humble. It's also about locomotion. So interestingly, we've got Gimel here, which is about forward movement. Nun is the foundation of locomotion, so it is about moving forward, but like a really steady, solid pace, like really moving forward slowly and carefully, and gaining momentum and being able to continue to move forward accurately and consistently with humility, because Nun is this letter that is about humbleness. It rules over the constellation Scorpio, which can be a kind of sticky constellation in terms of its darkness, but with humility one can move forward toward whatever we're trying to achieve here, which looks like it's justice, because we have justice in here twice. So do whatever you're doing with humility and integrity, because that will bring us forward to that locomotion, that ability to move forward consistently, and not just like dashing forward and losing momentum, but starting out slow and getting stronger and stronger as you move forward. And what we've got down below here is the letter Beit, and Beit is a house. It is about life and death. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it's a binary foundation of life and death. Where do you live? What makes up your home, your house? Where does your heart exist? Is it for? Are you using yourself, your body, perhaps? Because it is. Beit is a house, but it's like wherever you live. Where's your soul live? It lives in your body. So, do you have integrity? Do you have respect for and love for your own body? Are you treating it well? Are you getting adequate rest? Beit rules over the day of Shabbat, which is about rest. Are you living in your house to your best ability? Are you using your body for positive things toward life? Or are you abusing your body and moving again toward death? We want to have that ability to move toward wholeness here, away from wickedness, because wholeness will lead us to life and wickedness will lead us to death. So there's a little bit of concern, since this is a little lower, there's a little concern that where we live, where we have been living, our home, our body perhaps, is tipping the balance toward death rather than life. So we want to make sure we maintain that momentum with humility toward wholeness. And where that will bring us to up here in this kind of lofty area of the reading is Ayin. And Ayin is, this is again the Proto-Hebrew, it is about vision, it's about sight. It's about being able to see clearly. It's about being, it's about actually the foundation of laughter. So it can be about seeing something and finding it amusing, hilarious, maybe laughing at ourselves a little bit. But it's about seeing clearly, about being able to see how we've been fooling ourselves, how we haven't been humble, how we haven't walked toward justice, how we haven't used our heart appropriately, how our home has not possibly been the safest, wholest place for us. That even though we've come from an idea of justice, that there's been some concerns here with our heart and with our body, and that we're moving forward with both starting quickly, perhaps running toward justice, but also with humility, moving with steady progress toward vision, toward being able to see what's right, what's righteous. moving toward whatever it is that we need to embody to get to our integrity and to find our inner joy. Because here we have this rune of inner joy, and when we are able to be consistent in our values, you said with the noon, be consistent with our values, that even if we've had a fall, even if we've lost heart or maybe not taken care of our home, that we can get back up and move forward slowly with humility and seek integration. Again, since we have Mieliki, the Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, who is about earth, about taking care of the body, it seems very strongly affiliated here with wherever we live. This is our home. This planet is our home, and we need to take better care of it. And when we do, those granaries will be opened to us. We'll have the wealth that we want. We'll have the joy that we need. We'll be able to see clearly and laugh and enjoy the world. And I think that's pretty clear here. Yeah, I think that's what we got for you today. So for those of you who chose integrity, I hope you find your integration and take care of your situation and rest on your inner joy so that you can realize the vision that you need to move on to the next iteration with consistency. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Hello, people who have chosen birth. Let's read this card, and then we'll look a little bit closer at your rune, and then we'll do some Kalevala card, and then some Hebrew readings. So this card says birth. Find your sacred creative womb space, whether it's time, tools, or literal space. Seek the appropriate midwife. Trust the process. All will be revealed in time. So we got some kind of gestation going on here. It looks like something that's coming to be born, that you have maybe need some assistance with that, and recognize that everything will come in time. And I love that in connection with the Eiwaz, rune, because Eiwaz is about the yew tree, and the yew tree talks about very slow, steady growth, a certain amount of stability, perseverance, having patience, as it said, trust the process, all will come in time, and having endurance in the personal power and strength to get through whatever our current situation is. And that's definitely required for giving birth of any kind, whether it's to a human being or to an idea. So for those of you who chose the birth and the Eiwaz, those seem like a really good pair. And let's see what else we've got coming up in the Kalevala deck today. I'm going to take one card and learn a little bit about it. And, oops, hit the camera. There she is. Okay. So our card from the Kalevala deck today is Raven. Beautiful. I love the Raven card. Let's take a look at what Raven has for us today. Right, Raven is the Page of Swords, loosely affiliated with the Tarot of the Page of Swords. And Raven is about knowledge, wisdom, about learning. It's about magic, about having clarity and strength and talents, and creative and original thinking. So again, having to do with birth, that's really powerful there, and just brilliant power of thought. So Raven is more about ideas. Like I said, it is swords, so about communication and ideas. But we birth knowledge all the time. We birth ideas and projects all the time, and they all start with an idea. So Raven is a very old and wise bird of knowledge. the sun is his symbol. You see the sun behind his head on the card here. He's in Native American mythologies, Pacific Coast mythologies, the raven is the one who brought the sun to the people. But he's also about darkness. He's got both light and darkness, and about truth and knowledge, about being able to have things illuminated because of his ability to bring the sun, but also travel in the darkness. He's a communicator. He is one who communicates with all kinds of species, not just the animals but the humans as well. But he brings both light and darkness. So he has an all-encompassing view of a situation. So he's not just going to bring you the good news. He's going to bring you all the news. So Raven's got this amazing perspective that's just very vast and has the ability to, again, just see what's coming, good, bad, and ugly. So Raven's got this very keen perception, and he's saying that that's also within you, that you have the ability to see. He's known as the sunbird. And so he will give you the ability to see and light your new possibilities into intention and action. So here's Raven for you today. We'll set him over here by these feathers. Not raven feathers, but feathers nonetheless. And let's pull out some Hebrunes and see what further message we have. We're going to use these Hebrunes that have both the Proto-Hebrew and the Modern Hebrew. And I'm just going to grab a handful and toss them down. See what comes. There we go. Alright. I'm going to turn them upright because that is going to be the way we're reading them today. Great, beautiful. Okay, so what I'm seeing in terms of our central issue here is the letter Tav. And Tav is the final letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It is the letter that represents a sign or a seal, something coming to completion. It is the letter that rules over the binary foundation of sovereignty and slavery. So, depending on where you are in your situation, you may be feeling sovereign, or you may be feeling enslaved by whatever is going on. But what you can know about the situation here is that it is coming to an end. This is, again, the sign or the seal or the stamp, like an X, that one can use to close out a deal, like if you were signing your name at the bottom of a contract. So we've got this this binary foundation of sovereignty and slavery, and we've got the completion of a thing coming into being, and that's our central issue. Whatever is like this birth, that we're giving birth to a thing, and it's so we won't stay pregnant forever, I guess, is the message here. And what's come before that is the letter Beit. Now this is the Paleo Hebrew for the letter Beit, and it looks like a floor plan of a house. So something has been. We found ourselves at home. We found ourselves in a place that is comfortable. Maybe we've been in a comfortable place for some time, but now that is coming to an end. That we've had this home, this place that we've called home, that we've thought we were comfortable in, and now we're finding ourselves coming to an end here of some sort. That's what's come before, is this comforting place that we've existed. And above that we have the Yud, and Yud is about it's that single point. Now this is the Paleo Hebrew for it, so it's about a hand. So Yad is the Hebrew word for hand or arm, and you can see that's a picture of an arm. So in this situation, maybe we've had some kind of creation, something we've used to make a thing. It is both a hand and it's a seed, so it has to do with a little bit of that one point out of which everything is created. It has to do with a seed out of which all things grow, or a sperm out of which life is born. And it has to do with the foundation of sexuality. So there's some kind of hand in this with sexuality that has also come slightly before this, and it's, you know, it's this this inspiration, perhaps, the seed that created the birth that's coming to being, and has brought us into this time of completion. Something has come to an end, again, or it's coming to an end with the birth. That the pregnancy is coming to an end. That doesn't mean that everything is coming to an end. That means that there's a new thing coming out of what's come before, out of this seed, out of this home that we've had. And what's down at the bottom here is the letter Kaf. And Kaf is about the palm of a hand. It looks like this, so it's got this idea of a giving and receiving, about giving what is yours to give and receiving what is yours to receive. And it's also about power. So Kaf is the first letter of the word Koach, which means power, and it's also the first letter of the word Keter, which means crown, and the word Kippah, which means hat. So all these things that could be sort of held over one's head. A crown can be over one's head, a hat can be over one's head, but power can also be wielded over one's head. So this palm of the hand, this has been maybe oppressive, that since it's on the lower part of the reading, I'm guessing it has to do with oppression, being oppressed by something. Maybe somebody else is having some kind of oppression over you. It is the binary foundation of wealth and poverty. So it's, again, that continuum. Where do you land on that continuum between what is bringing you wealth and what is impoverishing you? And that can be the same thing, like depending on how you're using it. If you have something that's that you are maybe holding on to too tightly, it can make you spiritually impoverished, even though you may be physically wealthy. So some kind of oppression has happened here, and it's also bringing about this end. And what we've got in the upper line here is pay, and pay is about a mouth. It's about communication. It's about creating the world as you speak it into existence. This is the mouth of the divine, creating the universe with words. So I think we're being admonished here as we come in through this completion time to create a new world with our speech. Give birth with, again, our slow progress to something that is sustainable, something that will be beautiful, something that will, because pay is, it's about creation, and we have that power of speech in our own self, that this is given to us by divinity. And pay is the binary foundation of grace and ugliness. So can we speak beautiful words? Can we speak true words? Can we speak to blessing rather than to curse? That we can use our words to create the reality we'd like, or we can use it to create a reality we don't like. So we're being admonished here as we come through this time of completion to speak words of blessing, to speak words of goodness and truth, in order to create, to give birth to this new reality that we're about to move into. So and pay is also about the infinite. So it's 80, the number 80, which is the number 8, which, as you see it laying on its side, looks like an infinity symbol, but it's also 1 more than 7, which is the number of days of creation. So we have a 10 times 8 being 80, and 80 is this ultimate manifestation of the infinite. So we have the power to create something that's infinite, something with our words that will last, something that is long-standing, something that will go on and on and on. And that can be, again, for good, or can be for beauty or for ugliness. So we're being admonished to use our words wisely and create something beautiful and truthful and long-lasting. And what we have down below is the letter Shin. And Shin is about fire. It's the mother letter of fire. It's the creation letter of fire. And I love that with regards to the raven, because the raven is about the sun. And Shin is about the lights in the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars. It's all those fiery lights in the sky. And so we've got this coming up, this idea of fire and about the heavens. And it's the head in the body. So it can be about passion, and it can be about anger, all those fiery emotions that we get in our heads. But it's about the sun and in the sky, and about summer in the year. In my reading of it, it speaks to the divine names of Shekhinah and Hashem, which both have a shin in them, and they are the indwelling presence and the holy name of the divine. So Shin has to do with that fire, about what's alive, what gives us life. The Shekhinah is that indwelling presence that gives us that spark of fire that keeps us alive. And the sun is what allows us, even though it can be blinding to look at, it is what allows us to stay alive on this planet. So that, we have to be aware of the dangers of that fire, that if we light passion too strongly, it may burn us. And if it does, then we need to just move ourselves back up here to pay and understand that we have the ability to speak and create what we need to create with beauty. Not to be afraid of the fire, but to use the fire to create what we need to create appropriately as we come through this time of birth, as we come through this time where we are creating our own sacred space, where we are trusting the process that all will be revealed in time, with the Eiwaz here, that we've got ongoing growth that is steady and not just a flash in the pan, not just a spark that burns out, but something that is long lasting. If we've been oppressed, if we've been using our own hand to oppress somebody else, we need to let that go, because here's the hand up here as well. So we've got both the palm of the hand and the hand itself, both this just come right before here, and this house of comfort, which has come before, but again it's slightly lower, so maybe that hasn't been as comfortable as we thought. Maybe there's something about discomfort in your own body. Maybe your hand has been uncomfortable, or maybe you've used your hand inappropriately to harm someone, to oppress someone else, even though the idea was this lofty goal of, the Yud is the first letter of the divine name, and using divinity inappropriately in some way, it sounds like here. Hashem, the divine name right here. So as we come through this completion time, we are moving forward again with good communication. The Raven's about communication, to create what's beautiful in the world, and to call on maybe Shekhinah as our midwife here, because we are being asked to find an appropriate midwife. So if we can call on Shekhinah to midwife us into what's the next iteration, I think that will be a beautiful future for those of you who chose the card birth. And I appreciate you listening, and I hope to see you next time.